What up, y'all? It's my favorite night of the year, the day before Thanksgiving. I'll tell you everything that I'm thankful for in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars.
You are Locked On Jaguars, your daily Jacksonville Jaguars podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is going on here on Thanksgiving Eve? I'm Tony Wiggins, the host of the Locked On Jaguars podcast, where it's your team every day. And we thank you for making us your first. And you do that because it's your team every day here on the Locked On Jaguars podcast. We are free to subscribe to on our YouTube page. That is Locked On Jaguars. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell so that you receive notifications each and every time we drop an episode. Hit the like button too. Also, wherever you get your audio podcast from, make sure you tap in to that source every single day to make sure you don't miss an episode. Pardon my voice a little bit too, because it seems like I'm a little bit raspy today. I can't help it. But today's show is sponsored by the Gametime app. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Also like to give a shout out to the everydayers. I will mention you today on today's show. You could be an everyday too. All you got to do is tune in every single day. All right, as I clear my throat, like DJ Cool said, let me clear my throat. I'm going to tell you what today's show is about. I'm going to give you a Thanksgiving message from Wig, and then I'll talk about why this is my favorite day. Of course, in the first segment, that'll include football, and you understand why football means so much to me, and why maybe it'll give you an understanding of why I move and talk and sort of act the way that I do. Why this is my favorite day of the year, not actually Thanksgiving, but the night before. And in segment 3, I want to thank the everydayers, not just for tuning in every day. That allows me to provide for my family at a higher level, but because of what you do for me. And I didn't really realize that until recently. So let's get down to it. Here's my Thanksgiving message. Be thankful of a lot of things, but from a football perspective, be very, very thankful for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The fact that they're actually playing good football now, even when they weren't playing football, we were grateful to have them. It's not really results based. It's about effort based. No one ever said the Jaguars did not try to be better, right? I think everyone realizes that Shad Khan probably spent more money in free agency than anybody over the last decade and a half since he's owned the team. They always have tried. The only thing that Jaguar fans ever wanted was competence. Like, we don't want you to try, we want you to get it done, but we do appreciate the effort. I never thought they weren't trying. So because of that, regardless of whether the results have been what we always wanted them to be, we are grateful. And that's why this season is so special so far. And last year, the end of last year was so special. Every single year, the Jaguars have seemingly done something that they weren't supposed to do, like in 2017 and even back in 1997 and 1999, and even the improbable run they made back with MJD when they were coached by Jack Del Rio. Folks, you remember every single moment. You remember Natron Means. You remember Natron Means in Buffalo. You remember Tony Baselli versus Bruce Smith. You remember Tony Brackens dancing around when he could have picked up the ball after a sack, and then he finally picked it up and ran into the end zone. You remember Fred Taylor busted out for over 90 some odd yards to score on the Dolphins, and Jimmy Johnson and Dan Marino playing their last and coaching their last game and walking off the field. You remember all of these good moments. You remember Jalen Ramsey saying, we're going to New England and we're going to win that blank. And lately, you remember the improbable run last year that this team made after having a 2-7 start and then actually getting to the point where they hosted a playoff game and then got behind 27-0 and ended up winning it. You remember everything. I'm thankful for those memories. I'm thankful for the fans that hung in there. And I'm thankful for Shad Khan. I'm thankful for Wayne Weaver for bringing this team here. And I'm thankful for Shad Khan always trying to put his best foot forward. Took a while, but they finally have given this city a team to be proud of. Thankful for Doug Peterson for what he's done with the culture, and Trevor Lawrence for how he conducts himself. And most of those players. I mean, I wouldn't even say most of them. I say all of them, because when you say most, it's like, okay, well, who don't you thank? No. I'm grateful and I'm thankful for all of them. There are only 32 teams, and we have one. And there are 32 shows on Locked On NFL Network, and we have one, and I'm your host. And it's just you have. I'm sorry about smacking my teeth a little bit. I'm actually trying to clear my throat without doing that, so pardon me a little bit. But there's a lot to be thankful for when it comes to football, and when it comes to the joy that it all brings to us. And now that the team is good, I mean, it's easy to sit and mark down or mark in your mind the things that you absolutely love about this football team. Now, I got a big game Sunday, right? A huge game. It's Wednesday. I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on the rest of the week. We're going to have the crossover show, just like the Thursday crossover with Locked On Texans. We'll have that for you on Thanksgiving Day, maybe a little bit earlier. We're also going to have a show on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, where we talk about things that we may see or expect, or any last minute injury news that's going to come up. So we're going to do what we always do. We're going to give you the coverage that you deserve as a Jaguar fan. Now, I'm gonna do this in reverse order a little bit. Why this is my favorite day, I'm gonna put that on the back. I'm gonna thank the everydayers first. I'm gonna go through it, and I'm gonna explain some things that have really made me feel a healthy, encouraging obligation to do this show for you every single day, no matter what I'm going through. And it turns out I need y'all just as much as you need me. It's a little bit of a release, and it's not only that. It's hard to realize that you can get something from a monologue, which is what this is. It's just me talking to everyone else. But the fact that I know y'all are listening, you may not be listening when I record it, but eventually you'll listen and you'll interact with me, and I'll go back and check, and I'll see that there's, between all of the different platforms, there's 3,000 to 3,500 people within 24 hours that pays attention to this show. So that in and of itself is super fulfilling for me. And I can't wait to share with you what it actually means to me, me personally. So y'all got to bear with me today. It's a lot of football to talk. We'll talk a lot of X's and O's on our crossover show tomorrow. But today it's about us. It's about the relationship that we have, what the Jaguars mean to us, what this city means to us. I'm proud to be a native of Jacksonville, Florida. I'm proud to be a Duvalian. You see my hat if you're watching on YouTube. It says Duval till we die. Ain't nobody trying to go nowhere, but if I do, I'm gonna do it as a Duvalian. And I know a lot of y'all feel the same way. So we'll get into thanking the everydayers and what that means to us here. And I'm not going to speak for the company, but I understand that people that show up every single day are very important to what we do here. And I'm super proud to be a part of this network and for you guys to be a part of this show every single day. So I'll get to that here in just a second on Locked On Jaguars, as we talk about the things that we're thankful for, and I let you know specifically what I am thankful for with the Jaguar faithful that tune into the show every day. We'll get to it in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. All right, I got to tell you about the Gametime app, man. The Gametime app is the absolute truth. If you're a procrastinator, you know it. You might not admit it, but people have told you. You had more than one person tell you that you always wait to the last minute to do things. But guess what? There's one scenario where waiting the last minute to do things won't handicap you. And that is when you're trying to buy tickets and you use the Gametime app, because Gametime takes all of that stuff away from you. You shouldn't have to worry about buying tickets to your next big event. You let the Gametime app deal with all of that stuff, and they'll handle it for you. And you can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All in prices show your total up front, so you know what you're getting, a great deal without hidden fees. Man, all you got to do is download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. I'm going to read that again. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Oh, yeah. All right, segment 2 here on Locked On Jaguars, as we bring you one of my favorite shows to do all year, Thanksgiving Eve. Segment 3, I'm going to tell you exactly why this game is this day is so special to me. But first, I want to thank you to the everydayers. All right, so here's where we don't lay it on thick, but we're going to be honest, and I promise I won't get overly emotional, okay? I love talking football. I love bringing the information to you, the fan. I love giving you my perspective that's based on years of experience, not necessarily something that I've heard or seen from anyone, right? There are times that even me, like the guy that's always talking and the guy that's always cracking jokes and there are times when even I get fatigued. And when life starts lifing you, right? There are times when, you know what? It's okay that you're not thinking about sports. And I've had some of those recently. Not so much my hip surgery. That was cool, even though those first 5 days were brutal and I did not want to I didn't want to put myself through a lot of pain, to deliver a show, but I had to, because I felt like I needed to talk to y'all, and I felt like you guys needed to hear from us right smack in the middle of the Jaguars starting a season off so positively. But it wasn't those days. It was the days recently I lost my sister-in-law, and everyone knows that. She's more like a sister. Of course, my wife's best friend. Their birthdays are a day apart, a year and a day apart. And that's like where we spend a lot of time with her and her husband, Will, my brother-in-law. So we'll be there tomorrow for Thanksgiving in the same house with her children, her husband that she left behind, moms, families, cousins, friends. And it's going to be a special day, right? She's been gone less than 3 weeks. Even going through that, there were days, and I talked to Ross Jackson, my immediate boss here at Locked On NFL, who also hosts Locked On Saints. Shout out to Ross and them. They ain't having that great of a year, but it's all good. But I didn't have answers, right? I didn't have a lot of answers. Didn't want to, and these are my exact words. I got other stuff that I'm dealing with. And obviously my wife, she really, really, really took it hard, and I really had to be there for her. And I was sitting there thinking, like, not that I don't feel like doing it, but I told myself, I always like to be honest, and I always like to be enlightening, and I always like to be engaging and to give Jaguar fans exactly what they deserve. And that is good coverage, honest coverage. Might not say everything that you want me to say, but I will say what I really, really feel, and genuinely it comes from a good place. Just with my own little perspective about the team, where they should go, what they should do, what's going on from the coaches' perspective. And that's why I get myself in a lot of trouble. I'm going to get y'all. I got to tell y'all this. Sometimes y'all get mad at me for me just doing my best to explain what I think they're thinking. Right? But I put up with it because it's still a privilege and an honor to talk to y'all and to get paid to talk about football, But I just didn't want to shortchange you, right? So what I found out was by coming here every day and doing it. And I've had people tell me that some people didn't even know what I was dealing with. And they said, man, that was a great, great podcast today. So what I realized was I needed you guys, the everydayers, right? And even those that aren't everydayers, if you tuned in and you enjoyed the show, I needed it. And the reason why is because this is what Mia would have wanted. That's what my sister would have wanted. She would have wanted me to do what I love, and that she's always encouraged. She always encouraged us. She made everybody she came in contact with feel like they were the most important person in the world. So I want to be like that. And I want y'all to feel like you're the most important people in the world. Your team is winning. Your team was losing. They had a bad game against the 49ers. And I came right on here, right in the middle of my personal storm. And I talked to you because I thought that I was giving you what you deserve. It turns out you were giving me something that I didn't even know I needed. And I'm not a validation seeker, right, when it comes to doing stuff like this. But it did make me feel good to know there were so many people that actually cared about what I was going through. There were people that cared about what I was saying about the team and listening to what was going on with the Jaguars and how I felt and folks just the outpouring of, man, I just appreciate you always keeping it real with us. Thank you. And now there's some people, and this is the funny part of it. It wasn't funny when it happened though. There's some people that got blocked. There's some people that probably got muted. There's some people that even got cursed out, and it's easy for me to sit here and say I'm sorry, but I'm probably not. It's just that you never know what other people are dealing with or what other people are going through. And then sometimes you catch them on a bad day and things happen. Or sometimes you catch them when they're being very, very serious and they're doing the best they can to get through a tough situation. And what happens is I ended up releasing. Guess what? I needed that too, right? So if you got blocked by me, tell one of your friends to tell me to unblock you, and I'll unblock you because we can all start over because we're all one big happy family here. But as it turns out, sometimes it's what you need. You need to do things that hurt a little bit. I'm going through physical therapy for my hip, and one of the things that they said is pain means to stop. Discomfort means to push through, right? I had a little bit of pain. I had a lot of pain, but I also had a lot of discomfort. But guess what I was able to do? I was able to push through. And after I do the physical therapy, when I push through, whatever was bothering me felt better. And I was able to do more stuff. So as I did this podcast every single day, the thing that was bothering me, it felt better because of the interaction that we had, because I would check and see what people were saying about my show, because I was very, very concerned that I wasn't going to give the listener exactly what they wanted with the Jacksonville Jaguars. But guess what happened? Y'all told me I did. Some people told me it was the best that I ever did, the best that I ever sounded. And I realized that there's a special relationship between fans and podcasts and folks that they take their time to listen to. Because one thing I learned is that I always knew it, but then it hits home that the one thing you don't have a lot of is time. I don't know what y'all consider a lot, but the one thing you don't have infinitely, the one thing that you're losing every single day is your time. And for you guys to give me your time every single day, I have to absolutely really, really reach down and try to give you my best every day when we're talking about this football team. And folks say it's just a game. You can say that about anything. But this game has real life ramifications for a lot of people, and it has nothing to do with wins or losses, because the Jacksonville Jaguars over the years have lost way more than they won, but yet and still here you are still here. And therefore, we can't let you down. We cannot let you down. Sounds like I'm making a song, right? I won't let you down. The fact that I can smile right now while I'm saying this, it means an awful lot to me. And hopefully what will happen is the Jaguars will do so good the rest of the year that it will make the rest of your year and the beginning of your new 2024 well worth it for investing your time and your emotions into following this team. I'm going to now tell you in segment 3 why this day is my favorite day and why I get so emotional. People go, is it Thanksgiving? Is it Christmas? No, for me, it's Thanksgiving Eve. And I'm going to tie it into football. And I'm going to tell you why it's probably the reason more than any other reason that I'm here doing this every single day. But I have to first tell you that Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for your 24/7 covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, man, we're going to get to it here on Locked On Jaguars in our third and final segment. Before we go get all fat eating turkey and all of that stuff tomorrow, we'll do it in just a second here on Locked On Jaguars. It's time for me to let y'all know about PrizePicks. You should already know about PrizePicks, but just in case you don't, you're not an everydayer. You listen every now and then on days when I don't talk about it. I'm going to talk about it today. PrizePicks, you know what it is? It is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. What you do is you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. It's the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. Now, what you need to do is go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnfl and use the code all lowercase LOCKEDONNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. I'm going to tell you again, go to prizepicks.com/lockedonnfl and use the code LOCKEDONNFL in all lowercase for a first deposit match up to $100. You can do it, man. Make sure you pay attention to the flex option. If you pick 5 or more, you get a flex option, so you don't even have to hit them all in order to win. But we're going to give you the good mojo and tell you you're going to win. Make sure you go to prizepicks.com, use the promo code LOCKEDONNFL. All right, third and final segment here on Locked On Jaguars on Thanksgiving Eve. As we bring this show to you, I put a poll out earlier. Let me see. I put this poll out. I asked everyone, hey, man, do y'all want me to release the Locked On NFL, crossover, Thursday crossover with Locked On Texans? I'm gonna show you the results of it. Some people actually said no, and I was like, how could y'all say no to this, right? I mean, how could you say no? And actually, my poll sort of disappeared, right? I did not pin my poll, but at one point, it was 88% to 12%. Guess what? Ain't going to happen. I'll let it go. I'll release it maybe at midnight, but we got to let this thing ride because I recorded this show so late. Let me explain to you why Thanksgiving is so important to me and the night before. And it has everything to do with football. I was 6. We had one TV, and there were 4 channels, the 3 major networks, and back then, there's 4 major now, but back then it was ABC, NBC, CBS, and then we had PBS, right? So that's 4 channels on a TV. We had to get up and turn the knob, and I'm dating myself here, and I'm aging. I told my grandma I want to watch football on Sunday, and I want to start watching at 12:30. That meant Brent Musburger, Irv Cross, Phyllis George, Jimmy the Greek on, man, I'm old, but on NFL Today. You Are Looking Live. That's where that stuff first started from, right? My grandma didn't understand the game, and I'm 6 years old explaining it to her. And I remember I got frustrated once, and she said, if you can't explain it to me, you can't watch it. Because you're not going to sit here and make me watch it without being able to explain it to you. And I tell this story every year, and I know it like the back of my hand because, well, it's true and it's my story. I explained it to her. I would go on for years explaining the game to her, not the rules so much, but who was who and why it was so important. And then it was Pat Summerall and Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire. And then John Madden came in. She was like, who is this dude going whack, boom, bang, and all of that stuff? And I had to explain who that was. Then I had to explain why Atlanta was in the NFC West. So it got really deep and all of that stuff. But my grandmother became the biggest fan of the NFL that I knew. The biggest. Every Sunday dinner at her house, all the time. And one of the things that she always did on Thanksgiving Eve, she got her dinner ready early because at 12 o'clock, she was going to be watching. She's going to say the grace. Everybody's going to eat. She's going to be planning in front of that TV to watch those games. And you used to start early, and then you have a late game. You didn't have as many as you have now. But the thing is that's what it was all about, right? And I was the only one she let stay up all night long, maybe had a glass of red wine or something, while she cooked 32 pies and all of this Thanksgiving food and all of this stuff for other people to come and eat, doing something for other folks again. So it always became my favorite time of year because my grandmother, who I lost the year before, who I lost right before COVID, right in the early part of 2020, we were football buddies, right? So now I find myself every single day having the patience, and trust me, look at my face. It requires patience sometimes to explain my point of view to folks. This is why I get so angry when I say one thing, and because it's social media and because it's the way of the world these days, it's one thing to not understand what I'm saying, but it's another thing to insinuate that I'm saying something else or that I'm not saying something else, but kind of saying it, and I'm being a passive aggressive. So one thing about me is if I want to say something, I'm going to say it. That's why I get so upset at people when they do that. And that's the easy way for me to stop engaging with you on social media is to accuse me of something, right? But I really feel like I'm reliving my childhood every single day when I try to explain how I see and how I feel about football to folks that really don't know me, except folks that come every single day, or maybe the people that I do know that listen to the podcast. So, and I did the same thing with my mom when I went to live with her in DC. I explained football to her, and we talked. Trust me, my mom calls me during the podcast. My mom calls me after the game when I'm doing postcast. My mom calls me and tells me what I should be saying on the podcast, and asking me to explain every single thing. So that was all practice for everything that I sit here and do every day, which is, I wouldn't necessarily say it's easy, but it is a bit of second nature. So all y'all can thank my grandmother for me being the person that I am that's willing to sit and do podcasts. And now I actually make a living at it. So I'm really thanking her because she prepared me, and she did not allow me to watch it if I couldn't explain it to her, because she wasn't going to sit there and watch it without me explaining it and not know what the hell was going on. And I'm sitting there doing it. So it all ties together. It all ties together with doing good for others. It ties together with doing things that make other people feel good, which, whether you know it or not, turns around and makes you feel good and builds you up too. So the everydayers, you mean so much to me. If you're not an everydayer, you can be. Just join every day, or as much as you can. Make sure you hit the like button and the bell and subscribe to the YouTube page. Continue to drop comments here and on social media, and we'll keep this going. So if you get this good mojo going, man, some good things will happen for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're going to talk about those good things tomorrow on the crossover with Locked On Texans. In what is turning out to be, this is why I tell you, don't judge these games before the year starts. It's turning out to be one of the biggest games the Jaguars are going to be playing in an awful long time, because they can put a little bit of separation between them and the Texans. And then everybody's talking about C.J. Stroud might be the best quarterback in the division. Well, Trevor has a chance to show it tomorrow. One game won't decide it, but we can see if Trevor can send a message to everybody. Sending a message to you of thanks, telling you all thank you for joining the show. Enjoy Thanksgiving with your family. Do not take it for granted, because you look around, somebody might not be here next year. Certainly that's what we're going through and dealing with. Whatever we do, man, we're going to do it together here on Locked On Jaguars, because it's your team every day. And like I said, we always thank you for making us your first listen. Until next time, take care.